Almost every story we deal with at the moment comes back to coronavirus, doesn't it? The impact of the last few months. And one of the trends we've seen is that since lockdown, there's been a surge in demand for dogs. But there are concerns now about how many puppies are being brought into the UK, imported from overseas to meet that demand. And the issue is about to be debated in Parliament.
Yes, it was inspired by the story of a Love Island couple, Molly-Mae Hague and Tommy Fury. They spoke out in June after their puppy died just 6 days after it arrived from Russia.
Yes, if we had our chance again, we wouldn't import a dog from Russia. And I wish, being an animal lover, I'm questioning myself now as an animal lover, do I love animals if I did that? But everyone makes mistakes, and just because we're in the public eye, it doesn't mean that we don't make mistakes. But maybe, it's positive that it happened to us and that we can share this story on our platforms.
I'm thankful that it happened to us and not somebody else, because I don't wish this upon my worst enemy.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. But hopefully you guys can take, you can take stuff out of this and you can use it in your own lives if you're thinking about doing anything like that. Just stop and put a little bit more time into it, which we should have done. But hopefully our mistakes...
The thing is, though, is that we did, in the wrong ways. I was so prepared for the dog. I bought him 1,000 different dog beds. I was ready to just give him so much love.
The Love Island couple there talking about how importing a dog broke their hearts in the end. Let's speak now to TV vet Mark Abraham, who's been involved in this petition and campaign. Mark, let's just talk about what are you seeing? What's the reality of what's going on at the moment?
Well, the reality is there is a definite demand, a spike in demand for pups because of the pandemic, and that's because people want companionship, they want a project to train, they want something to keep the kids entertained. However, this desperation for puppies has led to them being sourced from, let's say, irresponsible breeders. So, for example, puppy farming has gone on a long time in the UK, and thanks to Lucy's Law, which came in April, it's now... all breeders are accountable. You have to see the puppy interacting with the mum in the place it was born, which is, the government's own advice. It's very clear. However, there is another route to market, which means that puppies can be born on overseas puppy farms. They can be couriered across Europe or flown to Amsterdam and then driven to England. And actually, the public don't see the puppy with its mum. They don't see the litter mates. They don't see the conditions it was born in. So, whilst the government advice is to always physically see the pup interacting with its mum, this is actually impossible on this legal route to market. So the campaign at the moment is to ban this exploitative route to market for young pups for sale in the UK, which means that we close that legal route to market down, and the only way to purchase a pup is to actually physically see it interacting with its mum in the place it was born, in line with government's own advice.
What are some of the worst examples that you've been aware of puppies coming over?
Well, John, the classic one really is the one you've just shown, the Molly-Mae and Tommy Fury. The puppy was called Mr. Chai. That was flown to Amsterdam. It was then couriered to the UK. And of course, that had deformed skull. It had epilepsy. It had, we think, distemper and possibly parvo as well. So these are all diseases, medical, surgical, behavioural, lack of socialisation. These puppies that are coming from abroad, much like legal puppy farming in the UK, are these little tiny fluffy bundles, cute bundles of absolute time bomb diseases that either make sure that they die within days of reaching the UK or have to spend years on treatments and having operations and having behavioural modification therapy. So really, what we're trying to do is just keep everything responsible, keep all breeders accountable. The solution is easy. You raise the import age, the minimum age for import pups, from 15 weeks to 6 months. That means that puppies can be identified by their age because their permanent teeth have come through. It also gives the rabies vaccines time to work and be blood tested and checked, which rabies, of course, is not just a disease that's a threat to the UK dog population, but the human population too. So we're asking the government to raise the age to 6 months. Of course, that makes the puppies less desirable, which means that there'll be less puppy farming abroad, supplying our shores with sick, dying pups. And all puppies can be sourced responsibly, or, of course, adopted from rescue.
You see Tommy and Molly-Mae's sort of heartbreak in that clip. They felt they'd done everything possible. And I guess people in that position, even if they have suspicions that maybe this puppy is coming with problems or coming from a difficult situation, they might think, well, I'll show it love and I'll look after it and I'll get it treatment. I'm doing what's best for this this animal, you can see how people can convince themselves that what they're doing is good for the animals rather than a bad thing.
You're absolutely right, John. And do you know what? That was one of the most honest sort of revelations, really, from the Love Island couple. Is that telling the public, awareness raising, which really helped. And of course, it sparked the petition, which is still live. I mean, the petition is nearly 103,000, which has obviously made it trigger a debate in Westminster, and that's just over 41 days, and it has 6 months to run. And if you want to sign it, everyone watching, then go to the government website, find the petition, search for #ban puppy imports. But my point is, they did their research, maybe not enough, but what they found was a legal route to market. And this is a big ask for people. When someone's saying source responsibly, they didn't go on the dark web, they didn't go underground, they did everything right. They went, something that was completely legitimate, but it's unethical and it's immoral, and that's why it needs to be closed down. And that's why the only way to get a puppy should be to physically see it in the place it was born, interacting with its mum, or go to a rescue shelter instead. And if you stick to those two options, i.e. ban all the bad options, then you can only source a puppy responsibly.
Mark, thank you very much.